everyone. Today, we will discuss the political self. Having the learning outcomes, at the end of this chapter, students should able to describe the nature, functions, and origins of political self, discuss the role of family, school, church, peer groups, and media in the development of political self, determine the importance of social interaction in developing the political self, and identify and describe the theoretical perspectives in the development of political self. Before we proceed to our main topic, which is the political self, let me first discuss to you the understanding of politics and also to those people who give their various definition about politics. Politics may be started at ourselves, then to our family, to our peers, church, and even to our schools, until to the whole community. According to Kendall, 1998, he defines politics as a social institution through which power is acquired and exercised by people in groups. This means to him that in politics is building an organization which there is a leader who lead to his or her fellow men by exercising his or her power or right to command, or the leader will have the right to manipulate his people. In Aristotle's works, Politics, he describes the role that politics in the political community must play in bringing about the virtuous life in the citizenry. This he means to lead in one community must bring a good values. He or she must be the role model of all his or her citizens to have a progressive and well-developed country, and must apply a good politics on his people. And also Aristotle observes that man is by nature a political animal. This also means to Aristotle that we human being is a social creature with the power of speech and moral reasoning. Therefore, human beings interact with each other on a daily basis, having a deep impact on each other's life. From this description, it is clear that pursuit of a single shared goal or end is central to a political way of life. According to Stevens, Anglund, and Jassem 2015, cite that some people, politics is a central component of their identity. This also means for them, some people enter in a political life just to gain a great identity in their community. Having a political position make them known to others. Politics is an important part of human development because it promotes ideologies about democracy, citizenship, human rights, freedom, family, health, and other social issues. Politics exists in all human societies, and it serves as the mechanism by which individuals develop power and understand proper functioning of a democratic society as a citizen. In every sector, politics is existed. And yes, it is important part of human development. Why? Because as Aristotle said, that we are political animal. We socialize and interact others. As a citizen in this country, we care its development. And as a democratic country, we have a right to voice out our opinion and thoughts, what kind of leader we want for, in order to have a progressive nation. Citizenship is the most basic identification with a nation. The term denotes the membership of a citizen in a political society. As a citizen, a person enjoys full civil and political rights, including protection inside and outside the territory of the state. In short, it is the identity of one person of what nation he or she belongs. For others, politics may be a more peripheral concern but temporarily becomes a central one in a certain situation. Next is the political community, where people belong offers an opportunity for them to define themselves and provide opportunities to satisfy their needs for affiliation. The political community, it is a group of political members or public officials who share a common goals toward their community, and also people having the opportunity to enter in such political position and govern the states by its power. Next is the political self, organizes one's beliefs, attitudes, and affiliations, and aids in the processing of politically relevant information. The political self, it looks both inside and outside of yourself, on how you interact and present yourself to others, how you build political skills, and also Be confidently respectful of others and yourself in order to develop more meaningful and fruitful relationship. People use their political values and beliefs systems to define themselves. Every one of us have our own definition about politics. Every individual have their own ideas or insight about this particular matter. That's why it is must to us to know this so that it could help us to know more about this topic and help us to be aware the importance of this in our life on how we will apply this to ourselves. At this time, Miss Carla Nino will give you the insights of political self and identity.
Good day, everyone. Now let's talk about political self and identity. As an essential part of the self, the political self organizes self-relevant information about politics. It constitutes knowledge about the constitution, government, and governance. This means that political self refers to an egoistic representation about politics. It deals with a study about the basic principles and laws of a nation, state, or group. Also deals with the government itself and the process of decision making to formulate policy. The political self helps in defining the structures and the function of the government, in telling and understanding the relationship between the state and the citizens, and in the describing rights, freedoms, and obligations as citizens. For example, some are individual activities that benefit society, like voting, or group activities such as volunteer organizations. The political self exemplifies the ideals and aspirations of the people, embodies the rules and principles of the states, and determines the status and power of the people. Because we all know that a government that shall embody the ideals and aspirations of the people promote the common love, equality, and peace. One important component of political self is identity, the person's understanding of who and what he or she is. Citizenship becomes a salient basis for political self. The political self is often defined by citizenship. According to the book of Maria Serena Jokno 1997, The Democracy and Citizenship, mentions that citizenship is the most basic identification with a nation and, as such, is oriented toward the state and its expressions in law and policy. From the social and psychological perspectives, the individual's claims to citizenship means that the person relates himself or herself to a group of others who also see themselves as citizens of a larger polity. The institutions which influences the values of citizenships are the family, church, schools, media, government, and the non-government organization. As such, the political self is also in part defined by reference to other members in the political groups or community where one belongs. The value component of identity construction is shaped by societal agencies that enter the life of the individual from childhood all the way through adulthood. This is according to Jokno 1997, which means that the value component of identity construction is molded by life experiences, relationships, and connections of an individual to a certain community from childhood to adulthood. The political self and identity are developed through socialization, through the ways people learn the knowledge, norms, values, motives, and rules appropriate to their positions in a group or community. This is what we call the social interaction. Social interaction may significantly influence a person's understanding of politics and perhaps a person's political actions in the future. Through social interaction, people learn the status, duties, rights, and power necessary to interact successfully with other people in the group or community. Over time, individuals internalize the political attitudes, values, and views of others and incorporate them into their political self. Throughout life, as individuals meet new people and join new groups, the political self is influenced and modified by the opinions, comments, and suggestions of the people.
And the next topic is all about the origins of political self. Family hierarchical structure. The family has a hierarchical structure which requires each member to perform his or her role. Each position carries a set of rights, responsibilities, and expectations. Through the hierarchy of positions, status and power are ascribed. The family consists of members who differ in status, obligations, influence, or power. Traditionally, in every family, the father is the most influential member. He acts as the leader and establishes rules to maintain order in the family. His role as the leader entails power and authority. He coordinates with the mother in helping the children perform the rules necessary for a successful family. From an early age, individuals are taught to obey and treat parents with respect and conform to the rules. This shows that authority is necessary in the development of the political self and identity, which establish the father and the mother. Child must be governed, thus there must be some form of established status and power in the family. The ordered position and ascribed roles in the family prepare children for several and higher roles external to the family in the context of being a citizen of a state. According to Aristotle, families is the natural union of the state. It's established for the common good under a definite government. The family makes the most contribution to the child development of political self. The primary and the most important is the duty of the parents because they are the one who obliged to educate their children about basic values and belief. The process of learning is imbued with values and belief through identification. Morality underlies political values and belief. The family directly and indirectly influences a person's political attitudes, views, and beliefs. The Philippine Constitution thus recognizes the duty and responsibility of parents to educate and train their children to become good, useful, and worthy citizens of the country, and to prepare them for future responsibilities. In Philippine Constitution, they recognize the important role of schools in including among the youth the value of patriotism and nationalism and encouraging their involvement in public and civic affairs of the country. While parents teach their children basic values and discipline, schools have the responsibility in the formal education and training of children. One of the responsibilities of schools is to teach moral, spiritual, and political values that will help the student to become patriotic and morally upright citizen. The school has a similar structure to the family, with the teacher acting as a leader and the group in terms of the functionality of status and power. Students will more likely comply with rules in school because it entails serious and greater consequences. The church has also a vital role to make the ideals of citizenship and democracy through the religious teaching, values, and tradition. Consequently, how the family, school, and church emphasize moral behavior may also influence political behavior and political self. On the other hand, peers are also important in influencing the political self. The family and school consist of members who are different in status and power. In peer groups, the members are equal in status. Interaction with peer encompasses and emphasizes the equal distribution of power, right, and privilege among members of the group. Mass media could also be a key source of information on politics and may influence an individual political values and beliefs. The next slide is all about the theories of political self. In social learning theory, a person can acquire learning through observation and imitation. In imitation, the learner watches the behavior of another person or the model they look up to, and then perform the same behavior in a similar way or the way they saw it. Observation and imitation are important in a process known as political socialization, the lifelong process by which individuals gain knowledge about politics. In everyday life, social interaction significantly influence a person's understanding of politics. Through the process of identification, individuals, especially in the children and adolescent, incorporate the characteristic or trait, as well as the values, beliefs, and motives of the models or the parents or significant people they look up to. Another theory in political self is the cognitive theory, which suggests that mental activities like knowledge, perceptions, ideas of individual are important determinants of behavior, especially in political attitude. For example, individuals interpret the meaning of politics and then choose and decide the actions they will make. Based on the theory of symbolic interaction, it suggests that behaviors are product of communication, meaning, and symbols. People give meanings to symbol and they express this meaning through language and communication. For example, children develop their political attitude according to the symbol and meanings that their parents communicate to them. Based on the symbol, the and meanings that people ascribe to objects like politics, human rights, and freedom, people can formulate plan of action like election, demonstration, and rally. This recognizes the importance of the theory of political participation. In political participation can define as a citizen action or activities anchored in politics. Any activities concerning the government or governance of the state is an example of political participation. The extent and scope of political participation may be an important criteria for assessing the value or quality of symbol and meanings that people ascribe to the politics. In order for political participation to work in a society, a covenant of mutual trust and respect among members of the society must exist. To sustain this covenant, there must be an open flow of communication and feedback from the members. All members must also commit to take responsibility for fostering and maintaining an environment in which political participation can occur. For instance, Ordinary Filipino citizens must be allowed to take part in the policy and decision-making process regarding the administration of the country, which is accordance to the democratic nature of the Philippine society.